I see him.
Hey,
GM Graham.
GM.
All right, finally. I was looking for you in the audience and I was like, my God, there's so many names. I can't pick out the guy.
No, it's great to see a big audience here. Excited to be here, guys.
Great to
Yeah,
meet all of you.
happy to meet you
Excited
as
to have
well,
you.
Graham.
Good to
Yeah.
have you.
All right, I think let us kick off this session. I'm gonna do a very brief introduction. Matthias, I think you can start the recording now. Let me just do a very brief introduction and then I'll pass the mic on to Edgar. So GM everyone, GM Biotech, welcome to our second AMA. This time round, our AMA is with Omni. And we have two guests here with us today. The first one is Edgar from the core team itself. And then we have Graham as well from Omni. Very happy to have both of you here today. And I think today's session is very special because we're going to have a lot of alphas leaking, I believe. And I think you guys will want to keep your ears peeled because I believe Graham might be just dropping some small little leaks here and there. I don't know, but yeah, let's get things started then. I'm gonna pass on the mic on back to Edgar. Edgar, back to you. You may kickstart the session right now.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so the goal of this session is just to talk a bit with the community and really like shed the light on like great ecosystem projects building on top of Symbiotic and for the Symbiotic ecosystem. I would let Graham go a lot more into details later, but yeah, really excited to do this. And yeah, like maybe Graham, you can give a quick intro.
Yeah, absolutely. Very excited to be here with all of you. Um, I handle all things BD and growth at Omni. I've been with the team for about 1.5 years. Prior to that, I was at Say at Layer One, was doing BD there. Um, but love this industry, love the crypto space, and it's been a very exciting time building at Omni, and very excited to officially going live with Symbiotic as of yesterday. So super bullish, super excited about the future and just about the symbiotic ecosystem as a whole.
Great stuff. Great stuff. Okay, so as more people join in, like I want to start with having a little bit of fun, and I want to start with like some rapid fire like questions. So just I'm gonna give you some very basic questions, and you come up with like a very simple answer. Let's start with like, in your opinion, like the most underrated modular project.
Is this for me? These questions are for me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Most underrated modular project. There's a lot of them. I've always liked Celestia. I don't know if I could say that they're underrated, but I think Celestia has done an excellent job historically of being really, really strong in terms of go to market around modular. They made the word modularity a common vocab word, I feel like. They also had a phenomenal event. I believe it was last year at ECC. They did Modular Day and have really just fostered this incredible ecosystem um, as a result of their project. So I would say they're high on the list. I really like Initia as well. I know they just launched their token. I believe it was yesterday or the day before. I think they are a phenomenal modular project. I also am close with the folks over at Movement. Really admire the work that they have done in this space as well. But yeah, I think overall there are lots of really great modular projects in the ecosystem. If I had to choose one as being the most underrated, I think it's perhaps Celestia because they uh, invented the word, at least in my mind, made modular uh, a common word that we talk about all the time in the ecosystem, and have known the team for a very long time, admired their work, trailblazing in the space as the first and cheapest DA layer. And I'm a little bit biased because they are my friends, but I admire them a lot. Good question, though.
Thanks. A great answer. Great answer. Moving on to the next one. Like, what is something that most people get wrong at first glance about Omni?
I think at first glance, people tend to assume that Omni is a bridge. It is not a bridge. That's something that we've been actively fighting against for a long time. Omni can be used to facilitate transactions across chains and empower the infrastructure underneath a bridge. But Omni is not a bridge. It is actually so much more than that. We firmly believe that we are working toward a future on chain where users don't have to think about bridging, don't have to worry about bridging. They're able to just utilize applications like Symbiotic, and they don't have to think about what chain they're on. They're able to deposit, they'll be able to interact with applications, they're able to earn yield, earn rewards. And we really do believe at Omni wholeheartedly that bridging will be a thing of the past. And so I think because we have these big names that are strongly associated with bridges, such as Axelar, Layer Zero, Wormhole, and others, it is rather difficult at times to escape from that narrative when we want to communicate that we are actually, in fact, so much more than just a bridge. So I would say that's one thing that is misunderstood about Omni. Yeah, that would be my answer there. Good question though.
Yeah, really cool. We'll get to go a bit deeper into like the specifics of Omni and why exactly like you are not a bridge. Very exciting like little questions that I'm expecting the answers to like later. But I guess last rapid fire question is, if Omni were a meme, what would it be?
Omni or a meme. So it's funny. There's actually a good story behind this. We were in the office. This was probably about a year ago. In our old office, we were in like a shared co-working space, and we needed a meme. And some of the OGs, perhaps that are listening today, might remember this. But we needed like a little character, a cute character, to align with Omni and what we were building. And there's if folks remember Mochi, it's this little blob character with like these cute eyes and a big nose, and he just kind of dances around. And that was one of the first characters that we really tried to meme and associate with Omni. But that's, I guess, more of a homegrown meme. I don't know. I think for some reason I've seen folks in the Omni community associate us with a lot of like space memes, and so I always like the what's the meme of the astronaut, the always has been meme. I think that's one that I really like. I see that a lot in the community. But yeah, I don't know that I would say that there's one meme that sticks out in terms of what we are. But there's several that I've seen over the course of my time at Omni that we relate to, certainly.
Very cool. Yeah, I love this meme. Let's go a bit deeper into some cool questions about like the actual protocol. Can you like first like remind for the audience like what exactly is Omni, like how exactly you provide value to the modular space, and then I would love for you to go a bit deeper and explain to us, like, because you guys have been around for quite some time, you're probably even older than Symbiotic itself, how your vision has evolved ever since the early beginnings.
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So in terms of what Omni is and how we provide value, like I said before, I mean, we really believe in a future where all chain interactions for users are abstracted away. That's very, very important. It's a big bottleneck for users today. It's something that detracts from the user experience, and is something that we believe is critical in order for blockchain technology to be successful in the future. And so I like to think of myself as, the early user years ago when I didn't know anything about the industry, and think about how complicated and difficult it was back then for me to figure out how to use certain protocols, or how to bridge, or how to switch RPCs, or manage different assets in different wallets. And I really believe that in order for us to onboard the next billion users, it's a buzzword we talk about a lot, but it's a very important one to consider, we're really going to have to simplify the user experience. And so at Omni, our North Star is simplifying that user experience, making it as easy as possible for users to access applications, regardless of what blockchain they're using, to the point where they don't even have to think about it. And so I think what's been really cool is, since I've been in the industry and I've been full-time in the space almost 4 years now, we've seen so much progress on this front. And we've gone from, a place where people were just talking about this as an idea, imagining what it could be, to now we have products that are in the space that are really taking off and gaining significant traction and user adoption. And so it's been really, really rewarding and incredible to see that corner turned for folks, because it tells me, I can go to my parents, I can go to my, maybe I have grandparents, right, that are interested in what we're working on. But we really do believe in a future where that's possible. And so getting a bit more granular, we believe that there will be this credit layer, right? And that's when people throw out words like intents and solvers, it's just way too complicated. We need to simplify this down. To explain it is really what it is, which is a credit layer where sophisticated actors, solvers, right? These are traders, market makers, which have infrastructure, and they're able to conduct these more complex transactions on behalf of users. These are the individuals, the parties that are trading on users' behalf. So, it's a lot to cover there, but I do believe that it's been tremendous, the progress that we've seen. Super excited to be a part of this with Symbiotic. And I think it's really, really important that large protocols like Symbiotic, and we do have several others that we're working closely with. I won't share too many details on that yet, but we have a lot that are in the pipeline. And it's really, really important that the biggest protocols in DeFi like Symbiotic are those that are leading the way in this chain abstracted future where the user experience is just absolutely paramount.
Great. Yeah. Also, I'd love it if you could tell us a bit, like, I don't know how long you've been at Omni, but have you seen like the vision like evolve, or maybe not the vision, but like the path to execution evolve to accomplish this vision ever since the beginnings of Omni?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the best way to describe it is that people didn't talk about this. This wasn't really when I first began at Omni, when I was in my previous company. This wasn't something that was really discussed. I think we in the space just assumed that people would be willing to deal with all of the cumbersome issues when it comes to conducting multi-chain transactions. Whereas over the last year, we've come to realize that this is actually very, very important. And so we've seen the rise of a lot of these other projects that are tackling similar issues within the stack, right? And so Omni seeks to be that universal credit layer and facilitate those transactions. But there's so many other modular components that are a part of the stack as well that you see raising money, that are contributing to the stack, right? And this is something that has really taken off substantially, I would say, over the last 6 to 9 months, which means that we're really moving somewhere in terms of solving problems for users. And that's what really excites me. And so I think really just the amount of attention that's being driven toward these types of projects is significant and cannot be ignored. And so it's been really, really rewarding to see that progress, like I said, over the last 6 to 9 months.
Very, very exciting. And yeah, like you mentioned it a bit before, that like people tend to like mistake you guys for like a bridging a protocol. Could you explain, like in layman's terms, like why you're not like just a basic interoperability like bridge protocol? Like could you like I guess like compare Omni to like a traditional bridge a protocol that like everybody has used in the past, for example, and just like explain it, like how it differs completely from what like Omni is, and why Omni can be a better solution.
Absolutely. So let's think of a very simple example, right? I have funds that are sitting on Ethereum, and I want to use a Solana protocol. Say I want to swap on Radium, for example, right? What I would have to do if I were, well, let's use a yield protocol instead that takes in, we'll say USDC on Solana or something like that. So traditionally, what I would have to do is I would go to this protocol UI. I would realize, oh, my funds are not on Solana. I have to figure out how to get them from Ethereum to Solana. Now, if I'm a new user, I might go to Google. I might use AI to figure out, all right, what's the best bridging route? I'm going to have to leave the UI that I'm in of the application. I'm going to have to figure out how to use a new bridge. I'm going to have to transact across those networks, right? And it's going to take, depending on the bridge and the routing that I use, I might have to deal with a substantial amount of slippage. It'll probably take me a couple minutes to reach finality. Maybe in those few minutes, I'll get a little scared and I won't know where my money is, and I'll freak out, and maybe I won't even use the protocol, right? And so with Omni, the beauty is a solver will deposit on behalf of the user, so their position in the application shows up immediately. And so we believe that that's a massive paradigm shift. I mean, you can experience it with wrap staked ETH from base into Symbiotics instance on Ethereum. But this is really only just the beginning. With a traditional bridge, a burn and mint bridge type mechanism specifically, you're going to be dealing with bridge risk, right? Your funds are going to be locked in a bridge. A bridge can get hacked. We all perhaps remember the wormhole hack for $300 million a few years ago, right? When that much capital is locked up somewhere, it's susceptible to substantial risk. And so we believe that instead of users having to deal with that risk, it should be on sophisticated traders and parties that are doing it instead of those users. And so for us, really, if you want a simple user experience, you want your funds deposited into an application in a reasonable amount of time, we're able to facilitate that utilizing Omni, which is really a massive paradigm shift compared to the bridging landscape today. Whether you use Wormhole or Layer Zero or Axelar or any of these other bridges, we believe the future is with these intent-based protocols, which is exactly what Omni is. I know that was a bit of a mouthful, but hopefully that clarifies exactly what the value add is.
No, I think that was really, really good. Thank you so much. So what have been like the hardest trade-offs that you've had to make when you design the Omni validator set for this interoperability model?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's trade-offs with everything, right? And I think for us, the most difficult trade-off was taking the risk of building something that was completely new and novel. And so working with a decentralized validator set, I mean, there's always the blockchain trilemma, right? Of speed, decentralization, and capital efficiency, and sort of, finding that sweet spot middle ground, and, building out a validator set that was aligned, that is aligned with our vision. But we've been able to accomplish that, and we've pushed forward with that. But I will say, I think the biggest trade-off is, when you're pursuing something new in this industry and everything moves quickly, you really need to be very effective with your go-to-market strategy and how you communicate. And so I think, we multiple times considered, well, we could just build a bridge. We could just, focus on the interoperability protocols that people know today using that same sort of logic. But we've decided to take it a step further. And it's a big risk as an organization, as a startup, to pivot and build something that's completely net new. But that's what we decided to do. We believe that it's important to build for the future. We believe in the importance of improving UX for consumers and for users. And it's been really cool to see the adoption of our product and also, other similar products that have kind of come after us as well. And it's never easy to be the first. It's never easy to be the leader. But I think it's been tremendously rewarding to see a lot of the success that we've had over the last several months, and just the growth of the narrative that we've built ourselves. And I think, projects like Symbiotic, these are massive protocols with hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars deposited into them. It's just really an honor and a privilege to get to work with some of the biggest, brightest people in the industry, and excited to see that they are adopting this future where users will never have to worry about bridging their funds or any of these multi-chain complexities ever again.
Really cool. Yeah, now Symbiotic is a proud first user of Omni's SolverNet product, and really looking forward to like deepen our collaboration. And yeah, I guess like I'm curious, always curious to know like exactly like the value prop that we provide to different networks, because the answer changes with every network pretty much. And yeah, so I'm really curious to know like what does like Symbiotic like unlock for you guys at Omni?
Yeah, in terms of what it unlocks for Omni, it's and Symbiotic. You are a leader in your space. You're one of the largest DeFi protocols, one of the most successful, and so for us, when we were taking SolverNet to market, we wanted to work with the best teams in the industry because when people see the best teams in the industry adopting a new technology, they want to be like that team, right? So our thought process was, well, if we can work with a team like Symbiotic, if we can solve problems for them, then the likelihood that other teams, other protocols will see them and say, hey, we want to be like them. We want to work with SolverNet. We want to create that uh, improved user experience. Like that's what we believe is going to happen, and it already has. We've had other protocols reach out. We're working with several of the largest in the industry. Um, and I think for us, it's the first adopters always should be rewarded for what they do, for taking for taking a chance on new tech. And we believe that there will be a tremendous cascading effect with SolverNet adopters going forward, with Symbiotic leading the charge. Which again, we respect you all tremendously for being a part of that community and um, fostering that sense of innovation that is so important to this industry.
Great stuff. Last question on my end. Do you have any sneak peeks to share with us on what's coming for Omni
Yes,
2025?
I'm so glad you asked. So one of the biggest unlocks and something that I'm super excited for is we actually are enabling next week. We enabled this in testnet this past week, and it's been our tests have been going well. But next week we will be enabling what we call swap functionality. So that means in the case of Symbiotic, if you go to the Symbiotic UI and you have USDC on base, for example, you'll be able to deposit directly into Omni supported wrap staked ETH vaults on Ethereum. And so what that means is that you won't have to get wrap staked ETH on base. You won't have to bridge any of your funds. You can just show up with USDC or USDT or Ethereum on base or on any of our supported chains and deposit directly into Symbiotic. So I think that is a massive unlock that's coming within the next couple of weeks. It'll be live on mainnet officially next week. But when I think of really improving the user experience, it's about meeting users where they are. Again, a lot of users have Repstake ETH, but a lot more users have stables. A lot more users have ETH. And so being able to unlock that experience of users being able to deposit the asset that they have on hand without having to bridge, that's coming really, really soon. And we're super excited for that.
Super cool. I know it's time for the audience questions, but first I want to thank you so much, Graham, for answering all of these great questions. Like you definitely got us really, really excited for Omni and what's next in 2025. I wanted to ask Symbiotic and Matibiotic if we had any pre-submitted questions from the community.
Let me have a look. Give me one sec. Then now everybody seems really excited, but I don't see any questions. It just seems like there's just a lot of enthusiasm, that's all. Which is a good thing, I would
Nice.
say.
Guys, feel free to drop your questions in the chat, huh? We're watching.
Don't be shy.
Yeah, don't be shy. Just drop your questions on the chat. I'll pick them up and I'll give it to Graham to answer. Come on, guys. I see a lot of emojis and a lot of GIFs.
That's great, man. We have almost 100 people in this chat. That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
Where I mean, I'd love to ask a question of the audience. Where are most people located in the world? I'm based in New York City.
Spain myself.
Personally, I'm from Singapore. Oh, Ukraine, Singapore. Oh, George is from Singapore. Poland.
Joe
Wow.
from Poland, Nigeria.
Nigeria. Wow.
Oh, we got the whole globe covered.
Finally, we have a question. What can we do to support the project and how can we contribute? from Pirate?
Absolutely. No, that's a great question. I would say a couple things. I mean, we have our own Discord. We have there's the Omni Discord. There's the Omni Socials. But also, I would imagine there's I was actually poking around the Discord here, the Symbiotic Discord. It seems you guys have a bunch of competitions and community events, and I would say just get involved in that. And one thing that we always love to see is individuals who create educational content for their local communities. So if you speak another language, or if you have a group of friends where you're, whether it's in Indonesia, I'm just reading the chat here, Ukraine, or Canada, or Nigeria, or Bangalore, India. If you have a community of people, I think it's just great to spread awareness. We want as many people using these products as possible, and I think it's super important to continue to educate folks and spread awareness.
Nice, nice. Thank you for the answer. I hope that answers your question, Pirate. I think there's one more question I saw from Kagome. I think her question is, where can I learn more about Omni? And is the testnet still live or Symbiotic on Omni?
I think we might have lost Graham.
Oh no. No wonder he got cut off halfway. I thought he stopped there. Meanwhile, let's see where our audience are from. Continue. I see some from Bangalore, India, some Indonesia. I see a lot of Ukrainians though. See Italy. Really, really cool. Really, really cool. Love the audience. Graham, are you back? Seems like his mic is still down.
No, yeah. Now we can hear you.
You can hear him? No, I can't hear him though.
No.
Yeah.
Maybe Graham try leaving and coming back. Maybe that will.
Yeah, rejoining. Try rejoining. I will invite you again. No worries. I can't hear anyone. Okay, wait, let me just try rejoining. Okay.
Hey, there we go. Sorry, I lost everybody.
All right. No worries, no worries. I think you got cut off there halfway when you were sharing more details on how the public
Yeah, I would
communicates
just
about the project. Yeah.
Yeah, I would just say, get involved any way that you can, whether it's creating educational content or local community content. I think that's the most important thing. And, it's important that we educate people on what we're building. And so if you have a group of friends or a local community, or you speak another language, creating community channels and fostering community growth, that is so, so, so important to the success of any of our projects. And if any of you all are interested in doing that, please reach out. We're always open to discussion regarding that.
Definitely, definitely. I definitely agree with you, man, Graham. Like the community is kind of like the lifeblood of the project, right? If there's no community,
Absolutely.
there's actually no project. Yeah, I love that. So, all right, I think the next question was from Kagome. She asked, where can I learn more about Omni, and is the testnet still live for Symbiotic on Omni?
So a couple answers there. The testnet is no longer live because we are live on mainnet. So you can try out Symbiotic's integration with Solvernet on mainnet. And then in terms of where to learn more about Omni, let me send you the link to our Twitter page. All of the latest and greatest can be found right here.
I've dropped it. No worries.
You have, okay,
Yep.
wonderful. That's the best way to learn about Omni. There's also links there to our other socials, like our Discord, So yeah, if folks have other questions, feel free to reach out to core team members there.
Awesome, awesome. I hope that answers your question, Kagome. Uh, Let me see. Uh, where can I read more about Omni? I think Graham just dropped the information. We can catch more about Omni from their Twitter page, and then from there we can wiggle our way into Omni through the websites and the Discords as well. So let's see. Okay, I don't see any other questions, but I see people answering your initial question, which is where are the people from?
I love that. It seems that you all have a very global community. So hats off to that. That is, it's not an easy thing to do, and I respect it a lot.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think we have no more questions. So maybe perhaps I can just ask
Actually,
you
if I can
one.
slip right in, I would
Oh,
love to
sounds
add
great.
like
Sounds great. That'll be great.
to add a question. Like, I'm just very curious, Graham. Like, what kind of like challenges do you face? Because I mean, when you developing such a solution, I'm guessing that like your highest targets would be like big wallets, big UIs, like I don't know, like MetaMask, Wabi Wallet, maybe Ledger and crypto. Like, what is the like the big challenges that you're facing when talking with these big accounts?
Yeah, I mean that's a great question. I think there are a couple. I mean, there's several challenges. Anytime you're rolling out a new product, there's going to be reluctance to adopt. I think that's just regardless of what industry you're in, you're always going to run into roadblocks and people that don't want to. They're stuck in their ways, or they're happy with how things are going in a certain way, and I think it's. Oh, sorry, I'm about to sneeze. um, just a moment. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. So I think that's always something that's on our mind. Um, and then I think the other thing is it's there's a lot of sorry my allergies.
Bless you,
Oh my
Graham.
goodness, I'm sorry. Um, it's crazy. It's allergy season here in New York, and I've just been sneezing all day. But yeah, I would say it's reluctance to. Sorry, one. I'm dying. It's just reluctance to adopt. I think it's reluctance to adopt new technology. I think there's some teams that are wary or skeptical of making updates to their own front end. But what I found is that when teams give SolverNet a shot, and now with Symbiotic being a trailblazer and being a near $1 billion protocol, and um, fostering a great sense of trust, I think they're going to realize just how much of a more improved user experience it is with SolverNet versus without it. And so, very excited for the downstream tailwinds of Symbiotic going live. And again, I can't thank you guys enough. Very proud of the work that you all have done, the work we've done together, and I think it's a real strong signal to the rest of the crypto ecosystem that there is a better user experience possible. And really just hats off to the Symbiotic team for digging their heels in and providing their user base with a better experience. And I think it's going to cascade across the greater crypto landscape. I really do believe this is the beginning of something significant, and there's no better partner to work with than you guys. So really respect you all a lot for it.
Appreciate it, man.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So let me just go through the chat one last time to see if there's any more questions. Blah blah blah. Bless you, Graham. Maybe there will be mutual roles on Omni and Symbiotic Discords. Oh, this is an interesting question. I think this can be explored.
Yeah,
Other than that,
absolutely.
yeah, for sure. Other than that, I don't think I've seen. Yep, no more questions from the ground, I guess. Testnet is over, Homer. Yes, it is over. Over. Earlier on, Graham has mentioned that it is over. So I think I have one last question for you, Graham. Like, uh, just for the sake of the audience, would you mind leaking one last alpha leak for them? This is one question which I always ask
One
every.
last alpha leak.
Yes. I guess that's
Um,
what everyone is here for, right? In it, to be honest, so
Yeah, I mean, a couple of things. I can't share too much. All will be revealed very soon, but I did mention, swaps will be going live, and we think that that's going to be a massive unlock, and so very, very excited about that. But we do have a couple other exciting partnerships and integrations with some very OG DeFi protocols that are coming soon, and so Symbiotic being the first is significant for us, but that's really opened the door for a handful of other very large multi-billion dollar protocols that will be using Solvernet in the near future. So very excited to be building toward that. And yeah, you'll be able to track it all on our socials and very, very pumped for what's to come. So all will be revealed and shared with the community very, very soon. But really appreciate all of your support. We couldn't do it without you. So thank you.
yeah, that's super sick to hear, man. Thank you so much for leaking that. Uh, Edgar, do you have any last question for Graham? If not, I think we can conclude today's session. It's been a really, really long 38 minutes, and I think the audience have really, really have had their ears peeled in that sense.
No, I'm all good, and thank you again, Graham, for coming on. Like, I think it was a great run, and really looking
Absolutely.
forward to. Perfect. Yeah, looking forward to be using Omni with more assets from more chains deposit on Symbiotic.
Absolutely. And thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure, and to get a taste of your community, it's been fantastic. Very much appreciate it.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, I just want to give a very big shout out to Graham and Edgar again. Thank you both for taking your time out to join us today. I know it's a Friday evening for some, morning for some, but it's TGIF, right? Thank God it's Friday. So thank you for taking your busy thank you for taking a little bit of time out to join us from your busy schedule. And also to everybody in the audience, wow, 98 people strong. Thank you guys for also taking your time out to join us today for this very special session with Omni. One more thing, do follow Omni on their Twitter account, which is OmniFDN. And then feel free to also check out their website, omni.network as well, if you are interested to find out more. And also follow us on our Discord as well, Symbiotic. Bye. Okay, so thank you guys and thank you everyone. I will see you guys for in the next session. Charles, everyone. Charles Edgar, Charles Graham. See you guys soon.
Bye, everyone. Take care.